What's up everyone, the first veto competition of the summer has been played and we have a winner that has thrown a wrench in the works of all of Frenchie's plans. It's one hell of a week so far and it's going to continue to be, so welcome to your live feed update. Straight away, let's talk about who actually competed in the veto ceremony. So just as a recap for those of you who need reminding that the head of household and the nominees always compete as part of the veto competition. So automatically Frenchie, Alyssa and Kyland were competing for the veto, and picked alongside them was Tiffany, Derek X and Travis. And ladies and gentlemen, the first winner of the power of veto this summer goes to Derek X. Congratulations, Derek X. He has the power of veto, and of course that is going to be detrimental since Frenchie was even talking about targeting Derek X. So let's get into what we have to talk about in the updates. But first, guys, let me know what you think about Derek X winning the veto in the comment section. Are you happy? Are you sad? How do you feel about Derek X winning the veto? Immediately after the players were picked for the competition, though, Frenchie was in the storage room and he was basically saying, oh, this is the worst possible scenario, and it really was for him because he was talking about Travis or Derek X being the potential replacement nominee should one of the nominees come down. Well, he wants one of the nominees to come down for a backdoor plan. So, you know, if you all know Big Brother properly, a backdoor plan can't actually work if the person who's being targeted is competing in the veto. So with Travis and Derek X both competing in the veto, there was no possibility of a backdoor for the two of them. However, they can still be put up on the block and sent out the door, but it wouldn't be a backdoor. Frenchie seems hell-bent on doing a backdoor because it's a flashy move on week one. And I think he, as the fan inside of him, wants to go, look at me, I did a backdoor on week one. So, of course, that was the worst possible scenario for him, at the fact that he couldn't do that backdoor anymore. And especially with Derek X as the potential target winning the veto, he was pretty much left with Travis, which we'll get onto shortly. So it really has messed up Frenchie's plans for the week. Derek X expressed that the fact he won this veto was the only reason for winning it, was to prove himself. I think he felt like he was kind of in the shadows, and in essence he kind of was. You know, he bonded with Travis on day one, got that target on his back as a duo as part of them, so now he's in a fantastic sort of, quite a detrimental position actually, where he's got a bit of power. And when you're sort of on the outskirts of the game, when you can get a bit of power like the veto or even head of household, you can leverage yourself into a better position. So it's came at a fantastic time for Derek X to win the veto. I'm very, very happy for him, and I really hope he uses it to not just, you know, as whether he's going to use it or not, like he literally uses it as a bargaining tool socially, you know, over the next couple of days, you know, whilst the veto ceremony is yet to happen, he is going to be able to talk to people and get himself into a better social position. So, and already, I mean, I haven't talked about it just yet, but he is definitely doing that and talking to lots of different people. Fantastic to see. Great gameplay. Brent was really getting up in Derek X's face and pressuring him to do what Frenchie wants him to do, and saying, Derek X, you just got to go up to the head of household room now and talk to Frenchie and do what Frenchie wants you to do. And it's very, very reminiscent of previous, like, past couple seasons of Big Brother, of do what the HOH wants. And it's frustrating to hear because we've got a house full of people right now who I don't necessarily think are do what the HOH wants kind of people. So to see Brent doing that, it's really annoying me, and it's kind of thrown us another wrench in the works of the potential of a good season, to be honest. So that really does annoy me. And Derek X is feeling the same after Brent had left the room. He was looking at the camera and saying, I don't know what camera's on me right now, but whoever this dude Brent thinks he is, he literally comes to me every single time with nothing new to say, like, you know. And it was great to see him putting him in his place there to the camera, because obviously in Big Brother House you can't really say that to his face because that could come and backfire, but it's good to see that Derek X is aware of exactly what Brent is doing and calling him out for that. So praise to Derek X for that. Brent, you need to sort yourself out, because, you know, you're playing for yourself, not the head of household. Do what you think is best for your game, not what's best for the head of household's game. Because, you know, yes, the head of household is in a position of power, and yes, you can kind of, you know, work alongside them, but you don't always have to do what the HOH wants. And telling other, you know, for yourself, yeah, you can do what the HOH wants, but telling somebody else to do what the HOH wants, that's not your place to tell somebody. At least if you're going to try and do that, try and manipulate them into it. It's Big Brother, you know, try and pull off some sort of strategy where you can manipulate them into doing that, rather than just saying, do what the HOH wants. Bad gameplay, basic gameplay, and I don't think it's going to work. So it seems right now that Derek X is leaning towards using the power of veto on Kyland. You know, I think he just sort of wants a bit of redemption there, sort of from being on the outskirts of the social circle. He wants to make sure he gets back in and save Kyland. He seems to be closer with Kyland than Alyssa. He seems to vibe with the guys a lot more than the girls, to be honest. So it would make sense that he would save Kyland. And, you know, Brent and Alyssa were talking. Brent was saying, I really hope, you know, we can save both of you guys this week. You know, one with the veto, and obviously we send the replacement nom out the door. And Brent kept going on and on about how, you know, Derek X owes it to us to use the veto for betraying me and Frenchie. Derek X hasn't betrayed. It's day 4. Like, he hasn't betrayed anyone. Like, there was no solid alliance that Derek X was involved in. You know, yes, they, you know, like this. Okay, right. I'm gonna dissect this through, right, guys. You can see like my frustration right now just from not even being able to say that sentence there. So it's kind of like Brent thinks he is in control of Derek X, and if Derek X doesn't do what Brent wants, he's got the right to say, no, this is not how this works. Derek X must do, and it's annoying to see. It's very much like Jack and Mickey from BB21. Very frustrating to watch. Brent needs to watch out what he's doing, because I feel like because Brent's close in with Frenchie now, and obviously we've seen the power go to Frenchie's head. The power is kind of going to Brent's head now as well. It could be catastrophic what could happen next week if Brent wins head of household, which is possible. It's possible. But Brent needs to just, again, very similar to Frenchie, take a chill pill, vibe out, because right now all this pressure on Derek X, there's no need for it. He hasn't betrayed you. Just chill out, let him do what he has to do, and be there for him, because he's going to be much more of an ally for you if you're there for him rather than pressuring him and barking at him every single 2 seconds. Alyssa was trying to bargain Derek using the veto on her. She was talking to him saying, you know, look, if you use the veto on me, I've got sway with my team next week. You know, I can try and, you know, get my team to not nominate you next week. And I do believe she seems to be a straight shooter. God, I had flashbacks there to BB21 saying straight shooter, but she seems to be a straight shooter, and, you know, her word seems to mean quite a bit. I mean, she just seemed like a really genuinely nice, down-to-earth person. I really enjoyed watching Alyssa on the live feed yesterday. I think we saw a really different side to her, and it was great to see her open up, and she seems like a really nice girl, so I've got a lot of respect for her. But at the same time, her bargaining, I don't think, worked on Derek, because Derek was saying, look, right, whilst, you know, I respect you, all that sort of stuff, I do think that you have a good chance of getting the votes to stay against Travis, because Travis seems to be the centre now of the talk of the replacement nominee. So if Travis goes up, he thinks that Alyssa stands a better chance of battling against Travis than Kylan does. Take that back. Alyssa stands a better chance against Travis than she does Kylan, so he's going to take Kylan off the block to send Travis out, this way saving both Alyssa and Kylan. But of course, this is Big Brother. Expect the unexpected. Alyssa, Kylan, or even Travis may head out the door on Thursday night. We just don't know yet. Derek X and Frenchie talked about building trust back up with each other, and Derek said that he is planning on using the veto on Kyland, and Frenchie said he's okay with that. I think Frenchie wants to go for this big fish that he keeps going on about, and I think it's a strong competitor such as Travis. He thinks that whoever goes up, Alyssa will have the votes to stay. They both seem to find mutual ground on that. Whether I think or not they'll work together going forwards, I would say is a no. I'm sure Derek X is going to catch wind of the fact Frenchie was planning on putting him up if he didn't win the veto, or potentially putting him up if he didn't win the veto. So I think what they're building is definitely on rocky foundations right now, and it won't last. Arza was expressing her frustration to Derek F at the fact that she could not take a shower in the head of household room after asking Frenchie to do so, because Frenchie found it more important to invite Brent up first and chat with him. And, you know, they were sort of saying it's annoying how Frenchie's basically spending more time with other people, or focusing on more people than his teammates. It kind of feels like he's taking his team for granted and thinking that they're just going to have his back. But Arza and Derek F, they realise what's going on, and, you know, I think they're going, okay, Frenchie hasn't got the time of day for us, but he's got the time of day for all these other people. He's not exactly a team player at this point, I think, is what these guys are starting to realise, or starting to think anyway. And I would say they're not that far off, really. They do seem to be quite right, unless he shakes things up. It's going to look like Frenchie's got a lot of enemies on his road to the $750,000 because he's done so much damage this week. I'll be impressed if he gets out of this hole. Xavier and Derek X were having the conversation about the veto, and Xavier was saying, look, are you going to use it? Derek was being straight up with him and saying, yes, I'm planning on using it on Kyle, and I told him before the veto competition, should I win it, I'll put him up. And Derek X also, you know, being tight with Travis as he is, he realises that Travis is going to be the replacement nominee. So, do you know what? In a way, it's sad, but it's good to see Derek X playing the game. He's realising, okay, Travis probably is going to have to go this week, but I'm going to have to cut my losses. And he's not just saying, I'm not going to use the veto just because it's going to save Travis, because I think Derek X had realised it would put him in a really crappy position to make it further in the game. He might as well be out next week, so it's kind of good to see that cutthroat gameplay of him going, do you know what, if I have to lose my closest person in this house, I have to do that if it means getting further in the game. Props to him. It's good to see people playing the game. That is all of your live feed updates for today, folks. I thoroughly hope you all enjoyed watching and are enjoying the craziness that is week 1 of Big Brother 23. It's not even a full week yet, which is amazing. We're on day 5 today, and that was all day 4's conversation there. Let me know all your thoughts, guys, because do you know what? I don't want to speak prematurely, but I do think we are in for a very good season here. I really hope that's the case anyway. I'm really enjoying it so far, and I hope you guys are too. But guys, be kind to one another out there. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay positive. Couldn't get my words out there, but in the meantime, don't forget to like, share, comment and subscribe. Do all of that stuff. But until your next live feed update, I've been your host Tom Vasey. Good night.